I'm guessing that you got my email and found out that I can't make it to class today, but we have to finish chapter 4. So I'm just going to kind of go through, and you guys can read through here, and you can kind of answer the questions in your own Actively Learn. Or if you guys want, you can kind of move through and read through your Actively Learn on your own. You can shut this video off, but I want to show you how to get there. First things first, you're going to go up to the top. Up here, let me get my favorite one. And we were on page 15, so you're going to do 15, enter, and it's going to take you right here. And I'm going to continue and read, and you can pause this and write as you want. Don't forget, this is just for you. Okay, so if you're on this, if you're not, all right, you can certainly read this and take snips of this video. All right, let me continue on. There was a ship out there. You said you'd keep the fire going, and you let it out. He took a step toward Jack, who turned and faced him. They might have seen us. We might have gone home. This was too bitter for Piggy, who forgot his timidity in the agony of his loss. He began to cry out shrilly, "You and your blood, Jack Merridew! You and your hunting! We might have gone home." Ralph pushed Piggy to one side. "I was chief, and you were going to do what I said. You talk, but you can't even build huts. Then you go off hunting and let out the fire." He turned away, silent for a moment. Then his voice came again on a peak of feeling. "There was a ship." One of the smaller hunters began to wail. The dismal truth was filtering through to everybody. Jack went very red as he hacked and pulled at the pig. The job was too much. We needed everyone. Ralph turned. "You could have had everyone when the shelters were finished, but you had to hunt. We needed meat." Jack stood up as he said this, the bloodied knife in his hand. The two boys faced each other. There was a brilliant world of hunting, tactics, fierce exhilaration, skill, and there was the world of longing and baffled common sense. Jack transferred his knife to his left hand and smudged blood over his forehead as he pushed down the plastered hair. All right, question 14. Jack stood up as he said, "We needed meat," the bloodied knife in his hand. What do you think these actions say about him? Again, look for all and examine all things Jack. Say yes below and continue reading. Highlight and or snip evidence of characterization focusing on Jack. Piggy began again. "You didn't ought to have let that fire out. You said you'd keep the smoke going." This from Piggy and the wails of agreement from some of the hunters drove Jack to violence. The bolting look came into his blue eyes. He took a step and, able at last to hit someone, stuck his fist into Piggy's stomach. Piggy sat down with a grunt. Jack stood over him. His voice was vicious with humiliation. "You would you, fatty?" Ralph made a step forward and Jack smacked Piggy's head. Piggy's glasses flew off and tinkled on the rocks. Piggy cried out in terror, "My specs!" He went crouching and feeling over the rocks, but Simon, who got there first, found them for him. Oh, Simon. Passions beat about Simon on the mountaintop with awful wings. One side's broken. Piggy grabbed and put on the glasses. He looked malevolently at Jack. "I got to have them specs. Now I only got one eye. Just you wait." Jack made a move toward Piggy, who scrambled away till a great rock lay between them. He thrust his head over the top and glared at Jack through his one flashing glass. "Now I only got one eye. Just you wait." Jack mimicked the whine and scramble. "Just you wait, yeah." So Jack is making fun of Piggy here. What does that say about him? Really pay attention to the way Jack acts here. Look at what he says. Just put an X below so I know you read this, if you're using Actively Learn. Piggy and the parody were so funny that the hunters began to laugh. Jack felt encouraged. Ooh, he felt encouraged. He went on scrambling, and the laughter rose to a gale of hysteria. Unwilling, Ralph felt his lips twitch. He was angry with himself for giving way. He muttered, "That was a dirty trick." Jack broke out of his gyration and stood facing Ralph. His words came in a shout. All right. He looked at Piggy, at the hunters, at Ralph. "I'm sorry about the fire. I mean, He drew himself up. "I apologize." The buzz from the hunters was one of admiration at this handsome behavior. Not handsome like good looking, like good behavior. Clearly they were of the opinion that Jack had done the decent thing, had put himself in the right by his generous apology, and Ralph obscurely in the wrong. They waited for an appropriately decent answer. Yet Ralph's throat refused to pass one. He resented, as an addition to Jack's misbehavior, this verbal trick. The fire was dead. The ship was gone. Could they not see? Anger instead of decency passed his throat. That was a dirty trick. They were silent on the mountaintop while the opaque look appeared in Jack's eyes and passed away. Ralph's final word was an ingracious mutter. All right, light the fire. All right, it says an opaque look appeared in Jack's eyes and passed away. What do you think this means? Do you think you have to look up the word opaque? O-P-A-Q-U-E? Go ahead and do it. Pause this video. All right, pre-reading question on this page. Really notice as much as you can about Jack. Try to pick up on the details that the author includes. Highlight them or take a snip of them. Say okay below. With some positive action before them, a little of the tension died. Ralph said no more, did nothing, stood looking down at the ashes round his feet. Jack was loud and active. He gave orders, sang, whistled, threw remarks at the silent Ralph, remarks that he did not need an answer and therefore could not invite a snub. And Ralph still was silent. No one, not even Jack, would ask him to move, and in the end they had to build the fire 3 yards away and in a place not really as convenient. So Ralph asserted his chieftainship and could have not chosen a better way if he had thought for days. Against this weapon, so indefinable and so effective, Jack was powerless and raged without knowing why. By the time the pile was built, they were on different sides of a high barrier. When they had dealt with the fire, another crisis arose. Jack had no means of lighting it. Oh. Then, to his surprise, Ralph went to Piggy and took the glasses from him. Not even Ralph knew how a link between him and Jack had been snapped and fastened elsewhere. I'll bring him back. I'll come too. Piggy stood behind them, islanded in a sea of meaningless color, while Ralph knelt and focused the glossy spot. Instantly the fire was alight. Piggy held out his hands and grabbed the glasses back. Before these fantastically attractive flowers of violet and red and yellow, unkindness melted away. They became a circle of boys round a campfire, and even Piggy and Ralph were half drawn in. Soon some of the boys were rushing down the slope for more wood while Jack hacked the pig. They tried holding the whole carcass on a stake over the fire, but the stake burnt more quickly than the pig roasted. In the end, they skewered bits of meat on the branches and held them in the flames, kind of like marshmallows. And even then, almost as much was roasted as meat. Got burned a lot. Ralph's mouth watered. He meant to refuse meat, but his past diet of dried fruit and nuts with an odd crab or fish gave him too little resistance. He accepted a piece of half-raw meat and gnawed at it like a wolf. Again, think about it. I know I'm repetitive, but what's Jack doing and saying, okay? We're going to highlight and or snip anything Jack says and does and thinks and is portrayed. Piggy spoke, also dribbling. Aren't I having none? Jack had meant to leave him in doubt as an assertion of power. But Piggy, by advertising his omission, made more cruelty necessary. You didn't hunt. No more did Ralph, said Piggy wetly. Nor Simon, he amplified. There isn't more than a ha'porth of meat and a crab. Ralph stirred uneasily. Simon, sitting between the twins and Piggy, wiped his mouth and shoved his piece of meat over the rocks to Piggy, who grabbed it. The twins giggled, and Simon lowered his face in shame. Then Jack leapt to his feet, slashing off a great hunk of meat, and flung it down at Simon's feet. Eat, damn you! Oh, I said a bad word, sorry. He glared at Simon. Take it! He spun on his heel, center of a bewildered circle of boys. I got you meat. Numberless and inexpressible frustrations combined to make his rage elemental and awe-inspiring. I painted my face. I stole up. Now you eat, all of you, and I. Slowly, the silence on the mountaintop deepened, till the click of the fire and the soft hiss of roasting meat could be heard clearly. Jack looked round for understanding, but found only respect. Ralph stood among the ashes of the signal fire, his hands full of meat, saying nothing.